Oh, there you go. Oh, so just we'll go ahead and get started. So we did invite everybody running in these races. Area 2, we have Tom Bauer, Anthony Fuentes, Judy Wilson. In Area 4, we have Laura Guerrero Salgado, Isaí Martinez, and Mary Puna. And for the Kern High School District, we have Area 1, Cynthia Brakeman and Derek Dissinger. For Area 4, we have Marian Higuera, Lillian Lopez, Janice Graves, and Kathy Scribner. And for Area 5, we have Brian Beatty and Michelle Arsha. So now we're going to go ahead. I also want to introduce our timekeeper, Danielle. So Danielle will be letting folks know when their time is up and just making sure that we're running on time. And so we're going to go ahead and give some warning signs. For some, we'll have, actually this slide is incorrect. We'll actually give you a minute to introduce yourself, your candidacy and priorities, and how you plan to be responsive to the people you represent. So we'll go ahead and get started with BCSD Area 2. So we'll go ahead and start. And then we'll have our Area 1, Tarek, and then Area 4, Morgan, and then so I can just have, oh, sorry. Okay, so I'm getting note that we're having some Zoom technical difficulties, so I'm just going to go ahead and take a pause. Welcome everybody again for those that just arrived. And around, I know there's a mic on that table, and then we'll go ahead and test. In the meantime, we'll also review our agenda. So we will start with the candidates to introduce themselves. We'll then move on to some, we also hear from some community members that have some questions. And then towards the end, we'll be able to hear some closing remarks from our candidates, and then we'll have some important announcements regarding registering our voting election. Great. So we'll go ahead and get started with the candidates. Again, we'll start with Pam. Every candidate has 1 minute to go ahead and introduce their platform and be able to share. We'll go ahead and get started. Timekeeper, great.
Hi, I'm Ken Bauer. I'm asking your vote for the election for Bakersfield City School District, Area 2 trustee. I retired from Bakersfield City after 40 years of teaching for the district. I was heavily involved in our teachers union data, both at the local, state, and national level. And I bring that experience to the board. And when I decided to run for the board, I thought it was important to have a teacher on the board. Somebody who can look at things through a teacher's eyes. And having been in the classroom as long as I was, I know how things affect me. My three main priorities right now are treating each child individually and equitably, trying to provide what your specific child needs. Not all children need the same thing to be successful, so we have to be aware of that. We have to keep schools safe, healthy, and fiscally solvent. And we're working very hard to increase parent and community involvement in our schools. We need all those three things to keep Bakersfield City District doing well.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Anthony Fuentes. So I'm a Bakersfield native. My family has been here for a couple of generations. And they've always been in education. So I'm a current teacher at Foothill High School. I've been teaching for almost 8 years now. And my priorities for this race would really be the students and community. As a current teacher, I have the pleasure of teaching students who come primarily from Bakersfield City School District. And I really noticed that there's so much that Bakersfield City School District does that's just really wonderful. And in terms of this race, I'd really love to be a fresh new person on the board as a current teacher and as somebody who really cares.
Thank you, Laura.
Hello, everybody. My name is Laura Santano. I am a parent of 6, 3 of which attend one of the schools in the Bakersfield City School District. I am a current board member and I represent Area 4, which is one of the most needy areas in our district. My priorities are to continue to support our families, our students, and our teachers. Social emotional learning is very important to me. And us being assessing everybody in our district, whether you're an employee or you're a student or you're a family. How do I plan to be responsive? That's a really good question. I plan to keep my lines of communication open with the community. Oh, she said good. Sorry. I think communication is the most important thing, keeping the lines of communication open.
Thank you, and now we'll hear from the Kern High School District candidates. We'll start with Derek.
Test. There it goes. First of all, thank you for having me here. This is a really nice opportunity. My name is Derek Tysinger, and I'm running for the Kern High School District trustee position in Area 1. I'm a father of 4 sons that went to Centennial High School. I graduated from Tehachapi High School and Bakersfield College. I've been in public service now for 45 years. When I graduated from high school, I went in the military. I was in the military for 38.5 years. I also served with the Bakersfield City Fire Department for 30 years. And once I retired as a fire chief out of Fresno. I was recruited to teach in the Kern High School District. And I can tell you, that's been the most rewarding career that I've had in all the years that I've been. I fell in love with the kids, but I saw a lot of issues. And what's funny here, right? We have the Zoom issues. That's exactly, I had to learn. I didn't know what Zoom was, but I went through with those kids and I watched their faces. And I was an advocate to get the kids back in the classroom because I felt my health was not more important than what kids' health that we teach. And I really pushed to get the kids back in. But anyway, I just want to let you know that I need your vote, and I'm
Sorry, we're out of time. Okay, so we'll move on to Martin.
Hello, so my name is Martin Guerra, and I would just say reproduction. I am currently a new college student, and my classes are on hold for a little again while I'm working at the medical center as a nursing aide. To gain experience in nursing, enough money to continue to be able to afford stable housing, food, water, and all of my other basic necessities. And I have decided to dedicate most of my free time to talking to community members this quick break from classes, building community and more significant relationships with my neighbors. I believe that is very important, and that is exactly what I'm currently focusing on doing as I'm using this candidacy as an opportunity to uplift community voices that have been harmed by board members.
Thank you. Sorry, we're out of time. Okay, so we'll have Daniela remind just you all that she's holding the time card, and also sometimes the line goes out whenever there's a cell phone nearby, so just FYI, you have your cell phones near them. So we'll move over to Lily.
Hello, my name is Lillian Lopez. I am running for the Kern High School District Area 4. I am coming. Give me a second. So I'm coming into this as a parent, as a concerned mother. I also spearheaded and co-chaired Youth for School Choice last year so that students had an opportunity to choose what district they would like to go and get a better education. As far as my three, I'm also a Marine Corps veteran's wife. I have 2 children that are currently going to, one of them is actually going to be supposed to be Owens Primary as a GATE student. I'm really proud of her. And my points, I guess, I would say is safer campuses for the students. That's kind of my priority, as well as career and college ready. I want to make sure that they're ready to face the real world once they get out of school and they graduate, and making sure that our female students feel safe on the campus.
Sorry, we're out of time. Thank you for sharing. So we'll go ahead and go over now. So Ryan's going to go ahead and explain our rapid fire, and then we'll have an opportunity. Candidates, you'll have 30 seconds to respond to rapid fire question that you would like to, that is asked during this time.
Rapid fire, let's describe candidates, and we have to see the questions. Joining us, we have the city school district student candidate. Candidates have a set of cards. Blue means yes, and support. Red means no. After the question is asked, each candidate must hold up their cards to the candidates for their votes. We do a practice question. Candidates decide to be part of that party. Our first rapid fire question is: do you commit to having robust service for all students? Do you commit to making sure that local control funding formula dollars are directly allocated for student services for low income English language learners and cost control? The next form offers remote and in-person translation and participation. If you have a school board member support virtual participation for all districts, agendized school site and district level meeting. Do you support reallocating funding from law enforcement services to wraparound services that are more directly support student and family? Let's redo that question. Do you support reallocating funding from law enforcement services to wraparound services that are more directly support students and families? Do you support stocking the arcade on campus and training staff to be able to use it? Do you support stocking the Narcan on campus and training staff on how to be able to use it? Do you support charter schools?
Thank you, Ryan. So we're gonna go ahead and go over to the open-ended question portion of our forum. So thank you, candidates. So again, just to reiterate, we do have some folks on Zoom hearing, so if y'all can just speak up a little bit, and then also remember that we have translators, so speak up and not too fast. Great. So the first question from tonight will be from our parent, Monica.
Hola, mi nombre es Rubí, el superintendente del estado Tommy Turno y el Departamento de Educación de California tiene una meta de 4 estudiantes en la escuela secundaria puedan obtener su sello estatal de literatura para el año 2040. ¿Cómo planean ustedes la expansión y la articulación de educación multilingüe de alta calidad para su distrito?
Hi, my name is Ruby Colmenares. The superintendent of the state, Tony Thurman, Department of Education, California, have it as their goal that 3 out of every 4 students, say in high schools, can get their bilateral or high school diploma by the year 2040. How do you plan on ensuring the expansion and articulation of the education of multilingual, high quality education in the district?
Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond. It's by literacy, not bilateral. It's the same. How will you support comprehensive education for multilingual education to support students, given that the state of California has a virus? Okay, so each candidate will have 1 minute to answer, and so we'll go backwards. This time we'll start with Lillian, go to Martin, and then go to Derek, and then we'll go to Lillian, Anthony, and Pam. Oh, sorry, Laura.
So for me, obviously, bilingual language is very important in education. Obviously, you need to learn both languages, so it is important. But I still have to do a little bit more research on that. So I'm not really sure. I would probably say I would support bilingual learning, obviously. So
So that immediately comes to mind is making sure that we provide the necessary funding for this. And one way we can do that is by reallocating resources from the bloated budget that the current high school district allocates to having police officers on every school site campus. They spend over $4 million each year of money that can be used to fund programs like this.
Thank you. Experience from teaching the last 7 years in the school that I found that a lot of my juniors and seniors that were reading and writing at the 3rd and 4th grade level. And I think it's so important that we bring these to the grade level before they graduate. And I think obviously our bilingual programs are absolutely critical to what we do. And again, part of that is getting back to the basics and teaching kids what I learned when I went to school, and that's reading, writing, and arithmetic. Get back to the basics. And until we can bring our kids up to grade level, we shouldn't be pushing any of these other classes or anything else. And again, you know, juniors and seniors, let's bring them up to grade level. And again, I always was admired people that are bilingual. And I always talk to the kids in the class about that. Well, I wish I could have done better when I was in school as far as like Spanish and stuff. But we definitely need that.
We're gonna go ahead and use this mic for everything.
This one. Okay. I'm a little confused here because it seems like what was asked is more of a statement, and it's a question more directed towards high school, not elementary or middle school, unless I misunderstood the question. I'm assuming they're wanting to know how you would support bilingual, multilingual education. Okay, well, I do support multilingual. 3 of my kids are currently in the dual immersion program at Northeast Elementary. And we at Bakersfield City School District do have another dual immersion school, which is Harris Elementary. And we are currently working on a middle school dual immersion school. And we're actually working on the second middle school, right, Ms. Bauer? When you're asked, sorry, it's overtime. I thought my time was up. The self-literacy is at a high school level. Am I correct? That's where they get it. So it wouldn't pertain to elementary school district.
So as I hear the question coming at us, I would certainly be supportive of multilingual education. As somebody who didn't learn Spanish until he was in his early 20s and had a lot of difficulty doing so, I definitely understand the importance of having programs such as the dual immersion program at Bakersfield City School District. So I would love to see the expansion of that program, and that program be really robustly maintained, because it is so important in this community where there are so many English learners. In my experience, it's going to be very important that high school students get that early education that does highlight multilingual learning. It's going to be definitely essential for these kids belonging to our community.
Well, Bakersfield City has had a dual immersion program at Voorhees for many years and it's been very successful. In the last few years, we have expanded it to Stern so we can segue to the high school district where they can earn their dual biliteracy certificate. We have expanded our bilingual in Spanish again to dual immersion at Harris School. We're adding a grade every year and eventually hoping to continue in one of our middle schools or junior highs on the west side of town. We also are looking at going beyond Spanish English because we're thinking, and we don't have any particular language in mind, but if we're going to be a real dual immersion school district, we need to expand it to other languages where the kids can be successful in life and even in the business world later on. Because as we know, the world doesn't speak Spanish and English. There are many other languages out there that are important. So with our commitment to dual immersion, segues to the high school and bilingual.
Okay, so our next question will be coming from a youth. We'll go ahead and ask me.
Hi, my name is Alberto Gonzalez, and I'm a student at Walter Stern Middle School. And my question today is, our current life members have been working and leading a campaign to improve their school meals by making them better tasting, healthier, and culturally relevant. Through our campaign, we have gotten the opportunity to speak to different BCSD and KHSD students and parents about their experience with school meals. And for the most part, they agree that school meals need to be improved to support student success rates and eliminate food insecurities among students and families. How do you plan to improve school meals? And are you willing to let students lead their initiative and implement their own school meals recipes?
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and go backwards again. So we'll start with Pam.
Well, our school meal program has to comply with state and federal guidelines, which does not mean we can't be culturally relevant and involve students and families. I'm sure you're all aware about difficulty with supply chain right now within the state of California. I mean, it's crazy when you think you should go get some fresh fruits, it's just not available for delivery. But we will overcome that. And I'm confident that we will improve, take from the students. And also, we're looking at our program to start serving dinners. We are looking at getting into that. That'll be coming up pretty quickly in our board meeting this month. So we are very invested in providing healthy, appealing food to our students. And please, if you have a problem, talk to somebody. Talk to our cafeteria staff, talk to your teacher, talk to the principal. Everybody, we can't do anything about it if we don't know. So let us know.
You guys don't like those chicken sandwiches? As a teacher, I totally understand that question. My students are constantly complaining about food. But I absolutely agree that while sticking to state standards, we can definitely provide culturally relevant meals to students. And I think another good idea is to be sure that meals are culturally relevant and appealing to students is also involving parents, involving the community. When it comes to these meals, yeah, I'll pass it on and stuff. Oh, okay. I saw the out of time sign. Anyways, so involving parents, involving the community in terms of those things. My grandma was a cafeteria worker at Colonel Nicholas. So family is really important when it comes to food. So we can do that.
again, we have to follow state guidelines. There's no reason why we can't take suggestions from students, staff also. I see a lot of staff members get lunch from our cafeterias. So that's something that we can work on together, right? It takes children, students, families and staff. That's where they get their lunch. So that's something that we can work on. We have to be mindful, we have to understand that we gotta follow some guidelines. We can't serve certain and not spend money that we don't have. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move over to our current main candidate. We'll start with there.
Great question. I love it. If you can't tell, I love to eat. And I'll tell you what, when I was a kid in school, I used to love to eat in the cafeteria. So for the last 7 years, and I've been teaching at the ROC Center in CTAC, I had to learn how to go on my phone and buy the tickets so I could go in the cafeteria, and I started eating in there, and I'm 100% with you. The food is not near as good as it was when I was a kid, and he's mentioned the chicken sandwich, and I'm like, if you put a lot of mayonnaise and mustard, it goes down a lot easier, right? But no, honestly, I would love to have the kid. I mean, if kids aren't happy, I mean, that makes when you guys eat and you can do better in class. And if the kids don't like it, I mean, if the kids like it, we're doing the right thing. If they don't like it, we're obviously not doing the right thing. But yeah, I personally would like to see better food in the cafeteria.
Yes, I would obviously agree with the culturally confident meals as well. With the key part being having the programs like this, the student-led initiatives that work in collaboration with parents and community members. So yes, I think that's an important aspect of this.
I think for me too, I have to agree that meals are very important, especially breakfast, lunch and dinner. So I think for me, if I had the ability to be able to change it, I probably would cultivate more of like a learning type program where not only are the kids getting a good meal, but they're also learning how to cultivate and garden and be able to actually learn how the food is produced so that it also prepares them, you know, whether if it's in agriculture, type of, you know, business that they want to do, you know, that's kind of where I would be. But yes, a healthy meal is always important, and also maybe making better choices, having better choices for them to pick from, maybe more fruits, vegetables, you know, stuff like that. So.
Thank you. And so I know we have another question from our youth members, so we'll go ahead and pass the mic to them.
Hi, my name is Salvador Contreras. I'm a current senior at Foothill High School, and my question is, as an unfortunate ongoing repercussion due to COVID-19, students' mental health is still affected and students are struggling to find support. Both Bakersfield City School District and Kern High School District offer different resources for students. However, they are not always targeted or the most accessible to all students. In addition, some resources or better said, funding practices, for example, escorts and police on campus, do nothing to support students and their well-being on campus. What are your plans to provide equitable and direct mental health resources and spaces for all Bakersfield City School District and Kern School District students to feel supported by their district and division? Thank you.
We'll go ahead and start with our current candidate. We'll start off with Lydia.
I think for me, obviously, yes, it is important to have good mental health. You guys are facing a lot right now in regards to your generation of kids in the school that you guys are in. So, me for one, I think that it has to be something to where it's a good balance. So counseling is important, but also security, good security is also important on campus because of the different things that nationwide with the school shootings and stuff. So I would probably try to balance that out. It's more so that the kids also get good counseling, being able to have good counseling programs.
Well, I just need to say that I couldn't disagree more that more policing of students and adding more security after we've seen numbers of videos go viral of our students in the Kern High School district being traumatized by the security forces, assaulting children. Some kneeling on the backs of disabled students, while other students watch and discuss. And again, these acts are actively traumatizing our students. And the district's board of trustees continue to ignore this problem and act as though throwing more money to policing our students will fix the mental health crisis that our students are experiencing.
What I see here is two separate issues. Number one, having been in the military for 38 years and watching what's going on in our country, our security for our students is paramount to me. We need to keep the kids safe. And when we have complaints like what you mentioned, Martin, about the, if there's issues in the schools and we have abuse, like anybody, it needs to be addressed, whether it's a student or whether it's a teacher or whether it's security, period. But as far as these kids and the counseling and the support you guys need, I know you need it. I went through that period with you. I went through Zoom and as a teacher, and I watched you guys. I saw your faces, and I pushed, and I still push to keep the kids back in school. We need to keep you guys back in school, and I knew that's what was best for you. And I tell you what, the day that they told us you guys were coming back, was as a teacher, I couldn't have been happier. Thank you.
Okay, well, mental health is extremely important. Bakersfield City School District started social emotional learning before the COVID pandemic hit. And we have added many staff members to help with the issues that our children are having. Every one of our schools has at least one, if not two, behavior intervention specialists. We have youth circle specialists, we have counselors, we have more psychologists than I have ever seen in that district, all assigned to help our children, our staff, and our families. So we are very involved with supporting social emotional learning, the mental health of our children. We also have social workers to help make services available in the community that go beyond our school district. So we are very supportive of that. We want our children and everybody to be mentally healthy as possible.
I believe that the health and wellness of students is paramount. I believe that mental health resources should be the absolute priority because COVID has taught us a lot of things. COVID has taught us that students need real support when it comes to mental health services, when it comes to health services in general. Students are struggling. Students are still dealing with these issues, and I'm seeing that every day. And however we can make sure that these kids are being taken care of, and that these programs are well resourced, we should keep supporting this. In terms of the security and policing issue, it's certainly a different issue at Bakersfield City School District than it would be at Kern High School District. However, I would definitely prioritize those mental health and wellness issues because they're affecting the students.
Ms. Bauer pretty much summed it up regarding our mental health and what we do offer at the Bakersfield City School District. We do have 4 wellness centers. One of the wellness centers is strictly for mental health support for staff, students. Also, we do have 2 resource officers, which I support, and I will keep supporting to have them working with our district, and I'm going to tell you. When we have our PACE liaison, our principal, going out doing home calls, home visits. They need that extra support there. Sometimes the community needs to see authority. Let's be realistic. Not everybody is respectful of a teacher or of a school employee, anybody with a badge. So I do support those 2 resource officers.
Okay, so thank you. We're going to move on to a question, another community member question. So this one will come from Oliver Sernan.
Hi, how you doing? What plans do you have to add more Black history in activities that is not GPA excluded? What plans do you have to add more Black history in activities that is not GPA excluded?
Cool, so we'll start over to the side.
Can you clarify GPA?
Basically, you should have to get good grades to attend activity.
Oh, well, we do. We at the Bakersfield School District already have a really strong, we have APAC, we have APAC, and we have, yeah, we have multicultural month. We have, gosh, there's so many names, but we already have the Proud Foundation. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. But we do support everybody, the Bakersfield City School District. There's a lot of information that is probably not really published out there, or the public does not know. I think that's something we'll have to work on at the district, just advertising better, pretty much.
To be specific about Black History Month, I think it's incredibly important to take note of the month in a very authentic way. So in terms of what I would plan in the Bakersfield City School District is assuring that whatever program, whatever highlights are happening in Black History Month, that those items are happening in ways that are inclusive of all students, and that students really learn something from it. And I appreciate the question concerning GPA, because all students should be learning their histories. If they're African American students, if they're Chicano students in these schools, then I believe it is important that they learn culturally relevant lessons in this school.
Laura referred to our Proud Academy, which started out with our Closing the Achievement Gap Committee, because historically, the lowest achieving children in Bakersfield City School District have been African American boys, and then just above that, African American girls. So we started our focus schools, and we started Proud Academy, where we specifically took students whose parents enrolled them in then, and it was during and after school, where we focused on their cultural heritage, took elective field trips to Ellensworth, to Black schools down south, high school specifically, and college, and really working on encouraging them. And we use that as a pilot program that we intend to expand out to other low achieving students. We wanted to make sure it would work. That's on top of our cultural calendar. And Black History Month has been a focus for many years, but it needs to be all through the year, all through the cultures. It's getting them together to support.
Thank you. So we'll go over with Derek and Martin and then Julie.
As a teacher the last few years in the Kern High School District, one of my achievements, one of the proudest achievements I have, I teach introduction to firefighting in the regional operational program. And I have a couple of people that work for me that I mentored. One young lady's name was Tiana Mitchell, and she was actually a school teacher with the LA City School District. And she came to me when I was the fire chief and said, "Chief, I want to be a firefighter." She worked her butt off, and I'll tell you what, she ended up getting hired on the Los Angeles City Fire Department, and she was the first African-American woman hired in the LA City Fire Department in 15 years. And you know what I do during Black History Month? She comes up and hangs out on the kids, and if you Google the firefighting class, she was front and center when they did a story about the ROC Center out there. And I don't know about kids being excluded, but that's unacceptable. I've never heard of that. But kids should not be excluded from those activities.
So I would say that I would like to highlight that there are forces and candidates for the Kern High School District that have decided to deliberately spread misinformation about ethnic studies and falsely compare the ethnic studies program that's in the Kern High School District to critical race theory. This is disinformation, and the ethnic studies program that was devised in the Kern High School District should be fully implemented.
So when you asked the question, I took it as you kind of saying, inclusive as far as not in regards to judging by GPA, right? Okay, so my take on that is that when you have certain social programs, unfortunately, you're always going to have that one person always left out. Okay? It just happens. They're always going to feel like they're not part of, someone's going to not be happy. But I do believe, though, that when you do push your child to really achieve good grades and to really put something there for them to work hard for, they will push really hard to try to get to be in those type of programs. So it's kind of a balance of both. I would say when you have social programs, I would probably make them maybe after school programs where everybody can be included. But if it's like during the school, I would probably say maybe work a little bit harder so that they're able to really lift up their grades and be at a level where they're proud to be. Say, hey, you know what, I worked hard for this. This is my result too.
Alrighty, so we're running out of time. We have one more question from an educator, and then we're only going to provide 30 seconds for our candidates to answer this question. So we'll pass it over to Steve. Sorry, John.
So Steve is the president of our association, right? He was the one that had the question. I can't display it just as representative, but I don't have the question at all. I have no idea. I have a question.
Can we wait for a mic?
Sorry, where we need to use our mic? Yes. Can you hear us now? Good. Alrighty, everybody. So I know we are running out of time, so I apologize that we have one more time for questions. We'll do our last rapid fire question. I apologize, community members. These candidates will be available to you all after the forum, but I do want to respect that we're 5 minutes over time, and I want to respect their time as well as all of yours. So we're going to go ahead and launch a rapid fire questions. So again, for this question, really is just to get your answers, candidates, whether yes or no, and then we're going to go ahead and ask them. So Brian's gonna go ahead and ask them, and then we'll, if you want to say yes, we'll raise your green card with the yes, and if you say no, it's the no card with the red. So
The first question, do you support implementing ethnic studies? Do you support comprehensive sex education?
So you do have 30 seconds. You want to know that kind of
Basically, what she said is there's a question that caught your eye and you. After the rapid fire sections, you can speak for that question. If you want to. Do you support open and free access to all schools? Do you support charter schools? Do you support health policy, COVID-19 safety? Yes. So do you support health policy?
Sorry, we were having some technical difficulties with our slide, but the question was, do you support, it was more towards student safety and health, especially we know that we're still coming out of the pandemic. Okay. So then, I'm not sure, I think there might be a miss between the slide. But another question that we have is, if there is high teacher turnover every year, especially in high needs areas, like special education, do you support prioritizing teacher retention for BCSD and Kern High School boards? Thank you. And so now, I know that there were some questions that there was questions on. So each candidate will have 30 seconds to respond to any of the rapid fire questions or address their answer as to why they responded in that way. Oh, and the last one, sorry. Do you as a trustee commit to holding the school, holding leadership accountable? So now we'll have 30 seconds for candidates to speak on any rapid fire question. So our timekeeper will be letting us know when you all are. We'll start with area 1.
Yeah, the question on ethics studies for me is I need to look at that material first and see exactly what they're bringing into the schools. I won't arbitrarily agree to that, and that's something I'm going to bring to the board if I'm on there, is that we're going to have transparency and the parents are going to be involved. Same thing with sex education. Somehow this is evolved and where kids, somehow the state and the federal government think that the kids belong to them, and that is not true. Parents need to have the last say in what their kids learn and at school, period.
Well, I was quickly saying in regards to sex education, not providing a comprehensive understanding to our students
has only been proven to increase the danger therein of contracting STDs, of not learning about consent properly. The comprehensive sex education is vital, and that's the only point.
I agree with Derek. I think that parents need to definitely be involved in their kids, in anything that's being passed down. It depends on the material that they're showing. I would also be on the transparency part. Parents need to know what's going on with their kids all the time. As far as sexual education, I remember I had a sex ed when I was pretty much in junior high, but they did ask the parents if it was okay, and it depended on the material too. So I would want to see what that material is about.
Change the topic briefly. I worked at a charter school before I got my credentials as a teacher, and the amount of corners that are cut to charter schools, the potential for corners to be cut, especially in special education, very concerning. So that was why that's the piece. I would also absolutely support ethnic studies. I will always be on the forefront of supporting ethnic studies as a United States history teacher and as a Chicano studies teachers.
My sixth grade history book taught multicultural things through the book. So it's involved in all of our curriculum, different ethnic studies, as well as being freely taught. I taught human reproduction to fifth graders for a year and a half until there was a budget crisis and they cut it. And that was basically name that body part and what does it do. Children were amazingly just as ignorant as I was at that age of how their body worked. We did not get into sexuality, that isn't appropriate at that age. Parents have the right, they preview those materials as they have the right to preview anything that's adopted by the school district. That right just needs to be exercised.
Okay, we're out of time. Thank you, candidate. So now we're going to come to the closing statement. Each candidate has 1 minute again to share their top priorities and address any responses from any of the questions asked throughout the forum, and include anything else that you'd like. So 1 minute for everyone. We're going to start with our BCSD candidates, and then we'll go to our Kern candidates.
Well, thank you for coming and listening to us. I appreciate it. We sort of skipped number 3 a little bit about listening to the community. As a board member, every time I get an email, I respond to it. It may not be a response that the person may want, because sometimes as a board member, you can't address everything, but I always do that. Visiting schools, listening to parents. Anytime somebody needs to talk to me, staff, students, parents, community members, I've been available, and I'm always responsive to every single thing that I can legally respond to. And furthermore, your child is more than a test score. It's important to me that each child gets the type of education they need. If it doesn't give them absolutely the highest test score that year, but next year, they'll pick up and build on it. So I've always looked at children individually. And that's the way we need to do that. And parents, we've been very good about standing with our family and community engagement, and we will continue to do so. Got to have parents involved.
I also skipped that third question, so I'll take a little bit of that as well. I'm absolutely impressed by the amount of parent involvement that I've seen at Bakersfield City School District. I wish that would continue into the current high school district where I currently am. So seeing that as a top priority is definitely something I'd like to continue with. The other thing that I want to mention just about myself and my priorities is making sure that kids have access to programs that are equitable. Making sure that students are being treated equitably is very important to me, because my district does include some of those really low performing schools. I know those kids are capable of doing really wonderful things. So being supportive of those schools is of the utmost priority for me. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody. Thank you guys for this opportunity. And I'm going to tell all our students, if you feel that you're not being heard, there's always I'm not sure if you know how the chain of command works, but through emails, reach out to your principal, reach out to somebody in the and for our parents, we have a really strong foundation at the Bakersfield City School District, our PACE department, strongly supports not just our families, but our community members. So I would like to invite you guys to come out here to and meet with Didi, our PACE department, so she can give you more details on the stuff we have to offer. And for our community members, I want to say, please register to vote and vote for what is right.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and move over to our current hiring candidates.
So I also want to thank everybody here for coming out and also for this event. It's important that we get to talk to each other, understand each other, and understand in a productive way. So I just want to thank you. I think for me, it's definitely comes down to being there for the parents, making sure that the parents have complete transparency in their kids' education, anything that's coming down. I also believe that counseling is good for kids as well. You know, for the students, I do believe that they should have good mental health. So, I mean, for me, I think that's what it is. It's definitely transparency with the students and transparency with the parents, making sure that the parents are involved in everything that's going on in the schools.
So I believe the number one objective as a trustee should be holding, as a new trustee, should be holding the other board trustees accountable for the harmful decisions they constantly make that impact the most vulnerable student populations. Bringing transparency to their BS will be one of my top priorities, as well as making it my mission to continue to build community and be an open dialogue and listen to community members that may disagree with me on certain topics. I'm confident that I can say that I'm the only candidate in this race that would be open to having open communication with all community members.
Martin, you're not the only one because I'm here and I recognize as a board member, I'm number one, I have to represent the area, which is area 1 and the people that vote me in there. Okay, but I'm cognizant of the fact that the current high school district is made up of 70% Hispanic people. And if I didn't care, I wouldn't be here. And as a fire chief, my department was 80% Hispanic. And I tell you, listen, I don't have problems as a firefighter. I had an open door policy and I said, hey, if you've got an issue, come in here. I'll take complaints all day long as you have a solution to go along with that complaint. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. But I just want to let you know, I do represent Area 1, but when I'm on that board, I represent the entire school district. And I am available and I want to listen to you, and that's why we showed up. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We can just get a round of applause for all the candidates that you make everybody to the team mission. As well as the apologize for the lack of time. We hope that this is not only a space that we have these open conversations and continue to come together as a community. We do have some really important announcements and a very brief information through our Zoom call. So our civic engagement coordinator, Elena Honeycutt, will be reviewing some very important things to keep in mind during the election season. So thank you, everybody, and I'm going to pass over the mic to Elena. If we can't get Ellie, then I can do it. Okay. Good evening. My name is Lori Pasante. I use she, her pronouns, and I direct the civic engagement program for Lotus Huerta Foundation. And if you haven't seen what's on the slide behind you, boy, I got a real gift for you. It's not even Christmas yet, right? This is the League of Women Voters Voters Edge ballot lookup tool. Sometimes my ballot, I don't know everything that's on it, and I need to find out. And I really like going to the League of Women Voters Voters Edge voter guide ballot lookup, because I can put my address in where the red circle is, and it'll pull up my exact ballot with hyperlinks, so I can click on the candidates and learn about them. And I can click on the propositions and learn about the propositions in particular are really hard for me. I need to see what they're about. What does it mean when I vote yes? What does it mean to vote no? Like simple stuff like that. And I find it really helpful to look up my ballot here. I also want to point out that you can click on where it says in Espanol, and it'll translate the entire ballot, including all the hyperlinks. We also have the lotushuerta.org/2022 vote for additional materials in English and in Spanish, including Secretary of State information, like what happens if I don't get my ballot in the mail on October 10th? Because that's the date, right? October 10th, that's when the ballots are going to be sent from our elections department, and they're going to start populating in your mailbox. If you live in the city of Bakersfield, you might get it within 1 or 2 days. But if you live in a rural area, you might actually be up to like 1 week, maybe even beyond 1 week. But if you don't get your ballot after 2 weeks, absolutely call the elections department, or you're more than welcome to contact us as well, or any of your the co-sponsoring organizations here tonight. Next slide. Feel free to use our QR code to get more information, especially from the Secretary of State's website. And if you want to volunteer, you're welcome to contact us to knock on doors, to get out the vote, to help people learn what you have learned here tonight. General education purposes, of course, was the whole point of being here tonight. So we really appreciate everybody being here. Next slide. You're more than welcome also to contact Cecilia Delgado. Cecilia, can you stand up and say hello to everybody? Thank you, Cecilia. Cecilia is amazing. Hello. You can text her at 661-558-2041. She speaks English and Spanish, reads, writes English and Spanish, so you're welcome to text her in Spanish. She is our organizer for the Bakersfield area and South Kern, Weed Patch, Arvin, Lamont, and basically anywhere on the valley floor in Kern County. So feel free to contact her if you're interested in helping to make sure everybody vote counts in this election. Next slide. And with that, I'm going to hand it back to Ashley to wrap it up.
Alrighty, thank you everybody once again. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the folks on Zoom or tuning in via Facebook Live. Thank you to our interpreters from the UC staff. I also want to thank our community members, of course, our candidates for being here tonight. I really appreciate the opportunity to hear from everyone, especially our youth. And so just wanted to give a shout out again to our co-sponsors, all of us in Community Interventions, Bakersfield Elementary Teachers Association, and the Building Healthy Communities, alongside the Lotus Huerta Foundation. Thank you, everybody, and have a very great evening. Just one more last round of applause for our candidates. Please, y'all can get any snacks. There's some snacks on the right hand side of the stage.